My grandfather was great. He was founder of African American Sons and Daughters, the largest African American organization in Mississippi at that time. He did it because he said, I'm tired of seeing our women having babies in the cotton field. He said, we're going to build us our own hospital. And for 50 cents a month, they agreed to give 50 cents a month dues. And they could go to a 36-bed hospital and get universal health care in 1924. He went to Meharry to get doctors. He went to Howard to get doctors. And every doctor would do an internship at a residency in Yazoo City, Mississippi, in his hospital. And reportedly, the service was so great that in World War II, the white soldiers who were wounded would come through the back door of that hospital just to get the service. It was so good. That was my grandfather. And I bought that hospital, and that hospital is sitting there today, and Lord, let's do something with that hospital. It's there. But there was one omission, and that was my father. Now, his name didn't appear, but he's been in my heart, and he's in the heart of this organization, and I'll tell you why. Now, I went to law school. I knew nothing about agriculture. In fact, those at USDA may tell you I still don't know anything about agriculture. But my father did. My father graduated from Tuskegee Institute. He never made less than an A in any grade since kindergarten. And when he got to Tuskegee, he was the star pupil of George Washington Carver, his star student. And his specialty was horticulture. And in our house, when I was growing up, my dad was always in the garden. He was always growing. He was always trying to grow purple roses, hybrid roses. And I didn't care about it. But he was just into it. Tuskegee Institute in 1937, he graduated. And when he graduated, and I'm going to hook it all up, he was the Negro County agent in Crittenden County, Arkansas. Just like I went to school in Yazoo City, I was the dual president. He was the Negro County agent in Crittenden County, Arkansas, across the river from Mississippi. And he was the extension agent, and he would go out to manage, administer, train, inform the African-American farmers in the 1940, 1942, 1945. And of course, I'm in law school, didn't care about agriculture, didn't want to know about agriculture other than eating food. But I respected my father. And when I became the Secretary of Agriculture, that $86 billion agency with 124,000 employees, with 80 offices around the world, with 26 programs, with offices everywhere. And I walked up those marble stairs to my office. They used to call it the cage. I don't know if they call it the cage anymore. But if you hadn't seen the Office of the Secretary of Agriculture, you should do that. It's magnificently, it's just huge, mammoth, and magnificent. And I'm 39 years old. And I'm walking into that building. And my predecessor was Ed Madigan, who was a colleague of mine on the House Agriculture Committee. He sat on the top row, I sat on the lower row. And I walked into my office, and Ed greeted me, one coming in, one going out. And I said, Ed, what advice would you have for me? And it's really one I should have heeded. He said to me, you're going to come in, you're going to sit down, they're going to pat you on the head, they're going to shut the door, and they're going to continue doing just the hell it is they want to do anyway. And what he said to me, and another one of my colleagues said to me, he said, the only way to stay in these jobs and keep these jobs, this is God's truth. He said to me, the only way to keep these jobs is to do nothing very slowly. Think about it. The only way to keep these jobs and this cabinet job is to do nothing very slowly. So after all that advice, I shut the door. And they came and knocked on the door. And this door is like, it's got to be a half foot thick. They opened the door. And this gentleman, young guy, an intern, had gone to the archives and found my father's records from Crittenden County, Arkansas. And he handed me that folder about an inch thick. And I sat down, I read every word. Henry William Espy Sr.'s years in Crittenden County, Arkansas, working for in a dual role at the USDA. And basically, he was sort of a bureaucrat. You know, they were numbers and numbers. But then there was some evocative stuff. And he said, look, we don't have enough resources. The farmers that I've been informing and training and managing, they go to the bank, they can't get a loan. They have to wait behind someone, and they say there's no money. And they say this and that, and they are not happy. And there's nothing I can do because my office is not resourced adequately either. That was my father. And we could talk about Pickford 1 and Pickford 2, and I'm proud of what they said, of the contributions I made. You know, I didn't make them alone or by myself. But my father imbued in me a sense of justice, a sense of compassion, a sense of equity. He's out in the field trying to do Lord's work, trying to do the hard work, and he is writing reports to his superiors that they're not helping him enough. They're not helping him to help his constituents, the farmers. So I did go to Congress. And John went on the Ways and Means Committee. I went on a Budget Committee and an Agriculture Committee. And on the Agriculture Committee, yes, I was on cotton, rice, and sugar, and yes, then I studied target prices and advanced efficiency payments, and I knew all the technology and all the technical side of it. But I also served on the Hunger Committee, where people in Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia and elsewhere can wake up hungry. And that's why I believe in wealth development. That's why I am so proud of what you're doing, the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. And that's why I'm working as board chairman of Hope Enterprise Corporation. There's nothing better than waking up in the morning, knowing you got money in the bank, knowing you have assets, knowing you have land, knowing you have something to barter with and some collateral. And that makes your spirit stronger and your family stronger. And it makes our country stronger. And that's what you're doing, the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. And I just believe in that. You know, they give these awards, these Lifetime Achievement Awards, for those who may be in the twilight of their life. And yes, my hair, that hair was black on that video. It is no longer black, but I believe the Lord has more for this federation to do and more for me to do. I'm not through yet. So I'm on the Cotton, Rice, and Sugar Committee, and I'm on the Nutrition Committee. But listen, I'm on the House Oversight Committee. Every day, we have the assistant secretary, the deputy secretary, the assistant deputy secretary, and they're coming over talking to you about what's right and what's wrong at the department. And I tried my best to learn the department. And I found out that then they had ASCS and Farmers Home, Agricultural Stabilization and Conservation Service and Farmers Home. They used to have those. And then I learned there's 4,623 counties and parishes in America. And in every county and parish in America, there were multiple USDA offices. And then I found out, so well, how do you get on these committees? The ASCS is the one that gives out the farm loans. And the Farmers Home is one that recommends the housing money. And I asked through the hearings and I asked through backdoor channels, how many African American men or women serve on these committees? And we're talking now not any 100 years ago. This was 1991, 1990. I got there in 1986 with John Lewis. So I'm asking, of all the 4,633, 34 offices in every county, Farmers Home and ASCS, how many African American men or women serve on the committees? And they said none. I said, none? None. I said, why none? Because they're elected by their peers. And the white farmers didn't support the African American nominees for these positions. So there were none. That's not right. It's not what my father would do. It's not what my grandfather would do. So I became secretary. After having noted that situation and having studied that situation, so now I'm secretary. And some would say I'm secretary of the last plantation. So I'm the overseer of the last plantation. Gosh. And the first thing I did, I tried to get all of this emanates from the Farm Bill. It's not something the secretary can necessarily just do. The Farm Bill really had not been changed since the New Deal in the 40s. And it codified the membership of these committees. It did say elected, but they elected by majority vote. So there were no African Americans. The first thing I did, I said, look, we need to have qualified minority farmers on these committees with regard to the percentage of their numbers in the county. Hispanic, black, it's all right. And the answer from the Congress was no. Answer came back no. The next we said, well, let's just open the door, let's allow the memberships to be from non-voting minority, Hispanic and black and Native American Indians, non-voting, just let them monitor. And the answer was no. This is the truth. We tried twice, voting and non-voting monitoring. And the answer both times was no. And then I say, well, let the Secretary of Agriculture, I got $86 billion, I'm mighty. Let the Secretary of Agriculture nominate his own candidates. And the answer was no. 3 times. So what we did was we reorganized the whole damn department.